Hi, welcome to Facebook Live, CRTLabs weekly broadcasting of information about technology and what we're doing and smart homes and other cool stuff. My name is Joe Sullivan. I'm here today by myself, so we're probably not going to do the whole 20 minutes as we normally do. So anyway, I'm a designer here at CRTLabs, and I want to describe a project that we're working on that I'm something that I'm designing, and my colleagues are helping as well, so it's a group effort. And it addresses an issue that exists in the smart home community, and it's something that needs to be addressed and something that is fairly serious. So we're going to talk about a smart home device checklist that we're building for when realtors are buying or selling a home, helping someone buy or sell a home, and it has smart home devices in it. There are certain things you need to do in order to make sure that the devices are handled properly in the transaction. So we can go ahead. So at any time during this this Facebook Live event, if you have a question that you want to ask, please put it into the comments on the Facebook Live broadcast, and we'll try to answer them for you. Okay, so why should owners reset devices? It sounds sort of silly, but a lot of people don't realize that smart home devices, when they're when they're part of a transaction, need to be reset. This has to do with security. It has to do with knowing how well you're progressing in your desires to save energy, for example, which is one of the reasons why people buy smart thermostats. All of your information is not going to the proper place if you don't transfer ownership of these devices correctly. So previous owners could still access your device. We've heard stories about, and I think we've talked about it here on Facebook Live before, that the ownership and control of a smart thermostat in a house somewhere in Pennsylvania was not properly taken care of, and the new owner called the realtor and said, "Hey, we can't control the heat in our house. It's getting too hot." The realtor called the old owner, and he or she said, "Oh yeah, I've been messing with it because I still have control over it." So these are the kinds of situations that we want to avoid. Sensitive data is at risk. Last week, Chris and Chad last week or 2 weeks ago, talked about security in the smart home arena, and this is obviously a point of exposure that you have when you don't take proper ownership of the smart devices in your home. So it is really, really important to change this, and I want to reiterate something that both Chris and Chad talked about, which was please use smart passwords, use a password manager. If you don't know what a password manager is, please ask us a question, send us email, we'll explain it to you, we'll give you a few examples, but they're really, really important. They're not just for banking and credit card accounts, they're for these things that now live in your home too. Just deleting the login information, changing the username isn't enough to make sure that the ownership of these things has been done properly. So that needs to be done. And what's really best for these things? A factory reset is best, as opposed to just changing some of the things in the account. What you have to remember, though, or what people should remember, is that these devices are protecting your house. And the manufacturers of these, the good ones, obviously you can't just call up a smart lock company or a smart alarm company or a smart camera company and say, "Hey, would you please reset my account information? I'm the new owner of the house." And the reason, obviously, is because every burglar would do that too, right? So there are processes that you need to go through to properly take ownership of these kinds of devices. And some of these things are not trivial. They're actually, it's a little bit complicated, it's manageable, but you need to know where to look. And that is why we're building something that I'm going to show you right now. Okay, first of all, we have done some work with a group called the Online Trust Alliance. And a lot of the points that I just made are captured in this document. This is a smart home checklist that is available both from them but also on our site. If you go to crtlabs.org, in the right-hand side, there's some quick links, some important links, and it's listed there. So it's called the Smart Home Checklist. You can download this, you can give this to your clients, you can give this to your buyers and sellers, and just make sure that they're leaving the house or entering a house and they're doing the right things regarding these devices. And just one more point about why you need to change this information. A lot of people are getting into smart home technology, especially thermostats, to save money, right? To track how they're doing and to make adjustments, how they're living, how much money they're spending. Nest is one company that every month will send you an email and tell you how you did this month compared to last month. And you don't want to miss out on this stuff, right? This is one of the reasons why you bought this, and you need to know if it's affecting your life in the way that we believe these things can affect your life positively. So you don't want to miss out on this stuff. Go ahead. And again, it'll tell this is an example of the Nest email, and it tells you some great information. Okay, here is just a few screen captures of what I've been designing and what we are going to be building. Now, if anyone's going to the Realtor annual conference in Orlando at the beginning of November, we're going to have a functioning prototype of this. So we will have this available on an iPad or a phone. And let me just describe the general idea and then just take you through a few screens. The idea is that as smart devices are found in more and more homes, realtors need to help the buyer or the seller transfer ownership of these things. So the idea is that you would walk in with this and you would look around, and maybe you know this already because you're representing this, the house in the sale. You would know that there's a smart thermostat there, and you would know that there's some smart lights, and you might even know that there's a smart lock on the back door. What this will do is this will allow you to choose from, I think it's about 13 or 15 different categories of smart devices. So in this example, let's say that there's a smart lock on the house, but you don't know what kind it is, okay? So you would click locks, and you would get taken to a page that would have all of the locks that are in a database that we are going to maintain, okay? And there will be pictures, there will be serial numbers, there'll be the name of the lock. You'll be able to identify what, in fact, you're looking for. You'll be able to scroll through, all right, and see different locks. Once you find what you need, you will add it to a checklist. And what we mean by checklist is we're just going to keep track of the things that are in the house that you're representing. And at the end of the process, you're going to submit it to us, and we will send you back information and links, curated links, to good resources to know how to handle transferring the ownership of that particular advice. So if you just go, you can also, we're going to have searching based on smart lock manufacturers. All the different categories are going to have searchability by manufacturer, and then there's going to be a whole big list. Next, please. Okay, of all the different appliances, all the different devices, so door locks and gateways and lighting and shades and blinds and cameras and all these kinds of things. Now, every smart device is not going to be part of a transaction. People are probably going to take their smart lights, for example, but thermostats and things connected to the garage and that kind of thing are probably going to be part of the transaction. So we're trying to cover everything that could be in a house that you need to be aware of. So we're going to be building a prototype of this. It's going to be available to check out in our booth number 208 and in Orlando at the annual convention. And we look forward to showing it to you because this is a really important thing. As these devices get popular, our practices need to get better. For now, if you're right in the middle of a transaction and what I've said has interested you or maybe scared you a little bit, there is someone that we are working with. They are located at smarthomedb.com. And they have information on over 900 different smart devices, and they have a lot of different information. But most of the products there do have the kind of information that I've just been talking about. So they do have reset instructions. What we're doing is sort of a more focused version of it. This is something that you can consult right now, though, if you have a need. smarthomedb.com. And if there's any questions on this or security in general, please put them into the Facebook post here. If you go to our site, CRTLabs.org, you can contact us. There's an email link across the top. And that's it for this week. Thank you very much. We're at CRTLabs.org, and we'll see you next week.